Hi everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be seeing the second part of the making of this dress, which is the sewing part. In my last video, I shared the pattern drafting for the making of this dress. If you're yet to see that, I'll be linking it down in this description box so that you can go ahead and check it out. So let's get started with today's video. So guys, in my last video I showed you guys how to go about this pattern drafting, and we agreed that today we're going to be cutting this onto our fabric and we're going to be sewing it. So let's get started. The fabric I'm using for the making of this dress is crepe, for those of you that might be asking, and what I have here is about 2.5 yards of fabric. You might need more depending on your size. So I folded my fabric into two, and you can see I'm placing the center part of my front pattern exactly on the folded edge here. And you know that the way we cut out this pattern, the upper part is movable. That's how we'll be able to cut out the cowl effect. So I'm going to make sure that this fabric is staying perfectly now, and we're going to pin down the front pattern. So you're going to pin the bottom part straight on the folded edge like I've done here. Make sure it is staying in place and it doesn't move. Now for the upper part of the front pattern, it is movable. So what we are going to do is, from this area where we cut it to where the neckline started, is where you're going to use to measure how deep the cowl neckline is going to be. The longer measurement you use, the longer the cowl effect is going to be. So for me, I measured 6 inches. You can see from where you can measure 7. You can even spread it out to like 8 inches. Like I said, the more you spread it out, the more likely your bust is going to show your breast. So you want to be very careful with this. So for me, I decided to use 6.5 inches, and I'm pinning it down now. This is how wide I want the neckline to be. So now you're going to make a mark at the shoulder area here once you're through with that. So this is where your shoulders start from, and this is where you're now going to mark your neckline. So from where you marked your shoulder here, just go ahead and mark a straight line towards the center of your fold. So now this straight line is now your neck measurement, okay? So once you're through with this, you're just going to like mark about 1/2 inch stitching allowance away from your shoulder, and do the same thing around the armhole as well. It's not very easy drawing on this fabric, so I'm just going to leave it, and I will add the stitching allowances as I'm cutting it. So for these areas that are marked straight around the neckline, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out straight. This is the cowl area, then the shoulder area here with 1/2 inch stitching allowance, the armhole with 1/2 inch stitching allowance as well. Now remember, we have not added stitching allowance to this pattern, so for the side I'm going to give it about 1 inch of stitching allowance. Okay, so yeah, that's it. At the bottom here, I'll give it about 1/2 inch of stitching allowance as well. And this is how to go about cutting out the upper part of your cowl neckline blouse. So I went ahead to cut out another piece with the exact pattern I just cut out now, to serve as the lining. So you'll be cutting out 2 for the front. Next, I'm going to cut out the back pattern, and just like I did for the front, I'm going to fold my fabric into 2, and I'm going to place the back pattern and go ahead and cut all the way around. So I'll be adding 1/2 inch of stitching allowance at the bottom, 1/2 inch to the center back, 1/2 inch inside the opening that we have at the back. Okay, so 1/2 inch of stitching allowance. This neckline doesn't need any stitching allowance. On the shoulders, I'll add 1/2 inch. Around the neckline, I'll add 1/2 inch as well. And then for the side, I'm going to be adding 1 inch, just like I did on the front part as well. And then at the armhole, I'll add 1/2 inch of stitching allowance. So I'm going to cut out 2 pieces again for this, because I'm also using it as lining. Cutting out the skirt part is very easy. I just placed my pattern on the skirt and went ahead to cut it out. Added 1 inch to the side of the pattern paper. Remember that when I was drafting this pattern in the last video, I used a short pattern paper, and I told you guys I was going to extend the length of the skirt because it's supposed to be like a long dress. Okay, so I just extended the length of the skirt to give me the long dress part. Okay, so now at the center of this waist area at the back, I went in by 1/2 inch, and then cut it into the body of the skirt to prevent the skirt from the back of the skirt area from having bulginess at the back. And then I went ahead to cut out the front part of the skirt as well and cut out lining pieces for the skirt. Now we are going to start joining the upper parts together. Now this is actually very easy. So I'm going to remove my pattern paper and I'm going to place my two front pieces right sides facing each other. You can see what it's looking like. So if I put in the cowl effect, you can see how my shoulders are sitting perfectly. So this is how it's supposed to be. Don't be confused by the way the shape is looking right now. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch down this straight area here, then the armhole and the side. So basically the neckline, armhole and side. I'm not going to be stitching the shoulders. Now for the back pattern, I'm going to go ahead and remove my pins as well. Remember, I also cut out 2 for this, so 2 for each side. You can use another piece of lining if the fabric you are working with is not going to be enough to serve as lining as well. So I have 2 for each side, and this is what it's looking like. So place them right sides facing each other, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch the neckline, center back, this curve here, and then the zipper allowance area of the back. So just basically all the way around the center back, and I'll do the same thing for this other side as well. Okay guys, I'm done stitching it down now, and I'm going to go ahead and trim all the way around the areas that I stitched down. I'm also going to trim the areas that I've stitched down on the back pieces. So once you're done trimming off all the rough areas or the allowances that are left at the center, go ahead and turn them over to the right side. Make notches all the way around the neckline and around the curve on the back area, and just go ahead and turn it over to the right side. So when you turn everything over, it's going to be looking very funny. You will need to go over and iron out all the pieces for them to look neat. So guys, these are the back pieces. After I was done turning them out, you can see how the curve around the back looks neat. And this is the front piece as well. This is what it's looking like. Everything is coming out nicely. You can see the armhole area looking nice and the neckline as well looking nice. So now I'm going to join these pieces front and back on the shoulders. So all you have to do is to place them right sides facing each other, front and back piece. And like I always do, I use one of the lining piece to turn everything over, and I go ahead and pin it down, and I'll head over to the sewing machine and just stitch down the shoulder areas. If you don't understand this particular method, you can just go about it the normal way you stitch down your shoulders. Guys, this part is a little tricky. Once you're done pinning around the shoulders, you are going to bring the armhole area together. Now, some part of the front of your pattern paper is going to be inside. Please take note of what I'm doing. The front is going to be inside. You're just going to go ahead and pin down the armhole of the back pieces. Remember, we have not stitched down the armhole of the back pieces, but we've done it for the front. So this is the neatest way you can stitch down the armhole from the inside. So I've gone ahead to pin down the armhole, and then I'll also pin down the sides. This is going to be looking very funny, but try as much as possible to understand what I'm doing. When you've stitched down the shoulders, align the armhole, pin them down just like I'm doing here, and pin down the side. So the rest of the body of the dress is going to be inside the things that you have pinned down. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch down the areas that I've pinned down, and I'll come and show you guys what it looks like. So guys, I'm just stitching it down, and this is what it looks like. So I'm going to trim off the shoulders. Then I'll trim off the allowances around the armhole. Please try not to be confused here. This is very easy. Okay. And then, of course, I'll trim off the little allowances around the side. Now, to turn this over to the right side, all you have to do is pull on the front, and it literally just comes out. So you can see that now the front and the back the shoulders and the armhole are now stitched from the inside. So this is the best way you can finish up the armhole area of this dress, because you're doing it from the inside, so that way the front and the back is looking neat. So exactly what I did on this side, I'm going to go ahead and do it here again. So I'll pin the shoulders down first and then pin the armholes for the back down. When you're pinning this down, the front part of your dress is going to be inside, okay? Then when you're done with the shoulder armhole, you pin the side down. When you stitch all of this down, all you have to do is to just pull on the front pattern, and it's very easy. It's literally very easy, and it comes out looking very neat. So stitch down the shoulder, arrange the armhole like I'm doing here, go ahead and pin it down, and do the same thing for the side. So guys, I'm done stitching it down now, and this is what it looks like. I've ironed it out as well. You can see how the front and the back patterns are coming out nicely, pieces actually. So I'm going to pin down the center back of the neckline and just pin down the zipper allowance area as well, and you can see what my pattern is looking like. So now the next thing I want to go ahead and do is to work on the skirt areas, so that we'll add the skirt part to this upper part of the dress. So guys, for the skirt part, I have gone ahead to line it. Remember I told you guys that I am cutting out lining for every part of the making of this dress. So for the front and the back, I've cut out lining, and I've gone ahead to line the skirt part. So what I'm going to do now is to just join the upper part of the front with the bottom skirt part, and it's literally very easy. I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down and head over to the sewing machine and just join this area with a straight stitch. So I'll stitch it down here. Now for the back pieces, I'll remove the pins now. I've also gone ahead to iron my lining, to stitch the back pieces with the lining. So all I have to do is to join them with the right sides. So I'm going to place this right sides facing each other with this part of the back. Remember that the back pieces are 2 because there is an opening at the center back for our stitching, for our zipper allowance. So I'm going ahead to pin down this one of the side backs with the upper part. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the other side as well, and then I will go over to the sewing machine and stitch all these areas that I've pinned down, both for the front and for the back pieces. So guys, they've been stitched down now. I've gone ahead to iron it out as well. You can see the front, and also I did the same thing for the back as well. So this is what we have. So now I'm going to arrange the back pieces right sides facing each other, just like you see me doing like this. And I'm going to go ahead and pin down the back area. So I'll go ahead and fix a zipper to the upper part. So I'll just stop the length of my zipper somewhere around here. And from here, I'm going to make a straight stitch to somewhere around here, so that the remaining part I have somewhere here, letting the slits not be too open. So from here to here, I'm going to make a straight stitch. So on the upper part, I'll fix my zipper, and the bottom opening will be for my slit. Okay guys, this is it. I'm done fixing the zipper to the back. Can you see how nicely it looks? And then I have my slit opening here at the center back. I've gone ahead to use hemming gum to just secure the slit in place. So this is what the front and the back is looking like. Now we're almost done with the making of this dress. All I have to do now is to join the sides. Go ahead and pin down the sides and join it down, and then head over to the sewing machine and just go ahead and stitch down the areas that are pinned. So guys, it's been stitched down on both sides now, and this is what my dress is looking like, looking all nice and clean. And then this is the cowl effect in front. You can see how beautiful it looks. This is the back. You can see the opening around the back. And yeah, this is all for the making of this dress. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one.